Hello divers, welcome to another technical diving tip video from Dive Zone Scuba. Today we'll be talking about setting up independent doubles or independent twins. On my right is a set of traditional manifolded or banded doubles. These are aluminum 80s. And on my left are two single aluminum 80s. The question that we're going to try to address today is, in the event that sets of manifolded banded doubles are not available and you would like to make longer dives or technical dives, how would you go about doing this without the banded manifold doubles? So in this case, what you most likely are likely to have are two individual aluminum 80s, for example, like the ones here. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can make these dives. One solution, which is probably the most common one, is to use side mounting. But what we're going to talk about today is how to take these two single aluminum 80s and easily modify them with a normal backplate in order to mount them as independent twins or independent doubles. There are actually many different techniques to back mounting independent doubles. I am going to show you one technique which I have found to be very effective. So in order to back mount independent doubles using this technique, what you need to do is you need to find a back plate which has extra slots cut into it. So you have a slot here, a slot here, a slot here, and a slot here, and then two more slots here and here, and two more slots here and here. So you'll note that the slots are cut on either side of the bend right here. There are some plates that are out on the market, such as the Apex plate, which the extra slots do exist, but they're not on either side of the bend, and so the success of being able to back mount independent doubles in this manner would be a little bit more difficult. Okay, so the way this works is you have to acquire a plate that has 4 slots like this. There are a couple of companies that do have plates like this. This is actually a titanium plate. So in order to do this, what you're going to need to have is a total of 4 sets of tank bands, a set of upper and lower tank bands on each side. You can use any tank band type that you're interested in, that you have available. I have these separable tank bands because it becomes a little bit easier to take the tanks on and off once you have them. So what you have to do is you have to thread each one of these tank bands, each one of these 4 tank bands, through the pairs of slots above and below, on the top and the bottom of the plate, and on the left and the right side. Okay, and you'll see that the band goes through the slots, and the center bend is right here. And so what this does is it adds additional stability when you're mounting the tanks. So in order to do this, you will need to have a back plate with the extra slots in it. Another requirement to setting up a set of independent doubles back mount is to have a suitable wing. This particular wing here has a cross-webbing system for mounting the BCD conventionally, and so you need to have a wing that has areas that will allow the straps to go through on the plate. So you have to have a spot here, a spot here, a spot here, and a spot here. The probability of a normal wing having the slots in exactly the same location as the plate are not good, and so if you have one that has the cross strap here, it allows you a lot greater latitude in positioning the BCD on the plate. So In order to successfully do this, you need to have a plate that has, or a BCD that has spots available for the webbing in the correct position. The next step is to put the bladder on the plate, and in order to do this, you must take the tank bands and position them through the mounting webbing on the plate. So I have these fed through here, these here, these here, and these here. So this is the reason why you need to have a compatible bladder, a compatible wing in order to fit these through. I have also fixed the BCD, the wing, to the plate using bolts. You can use whatever type of bolt that you want. They do not interfere with the mounting of the tanks, so you don't need to worry about using book screws or anything like that. Okay, so the next step is very easy. It's just putting them through and securing, if you want to, securing the wing in a particular position on the plate. The next step is to mount the tanks on the BCD, the wing, plate and wing. And I again have the separable tank bands here. You can have them in the catch and then put them down and then close them. You'll notice that my left tank is facing backwards and my right tank is in the normal forward facing position. This is to make this as similar to a set of manifolded banded twins in terms of valve manipulation. We'll talk in the next segment about what this will cause you to do when you're mounting your regulators on the tanks. So this is what the back of it looks like, and this is what the front of it looks like. Okay, so again, this will be in the normal position. The right tank will be in the normal position. The left-hand tank will be backwards. Here's our setup with a pair of regulators mounted onto the tanks. The right post, right tank regulator is set up pretty much exactly the same way as it would be with a set of banded manifolded doubles. The left tank, of course, is backwards now, and so that can introduce a few things that you might need to change. On this particular regulator setup, which is a Maury's 75X, what I ended up having to do was to take the high pressure hose going to the gauge from one side, and I had to put it on the other side, which is down here. So that's one thing that you need to worry about. Depending upon how tight your hoses are originally, you might need to have a slightly longer high pressure hose, and you might also need to have a slightly longer necklace depending upon how much slack you had in your necklace originally. Because what's happening is it's coming out the opposite end of the tank valve face, so you lose a little bit of hose there. So another thing that you might have to change is if you have a redundant bladder inflator, this might also need to be lengthened slightly depending upon, again, how tight you had everything set up. So with a relatively minimal effort with the right wing, wing and the correct plate, it is possible to do independent back mount twins in certain locations that don't have access, where you don't have access to banded manifold doubles. Okay, so where's a place like this? Okay, a place like this is on some of the smaller islands like Cayman Brac, Cayman Little. There's no such thing as a set of banded doubles. In other locations, you might be able to access banded doubles, but there might be an additional charge. So in Bonaire, if you take a flat nitrox program for a week, you would pay possibly $220 for nitrox all week, and the tanks are included in that. However, if you were to go somewhere and rent a set of doubles, it might cost you an additional $20 per day, and you would also have the difficulty of having to have them filled at a fill station, every time that you wanted your banded manifolded doubles filled. So this approach, even in areas that do have banded manifolded doubles available, the flexibility and convenience is also very good. A disadvantage of this is that you need to be familiar with the techniques of side mount diving, in which you are going to be alternating your left and your right tank. That is going to be the same as side mount diving, so that is definitely a minor limitation to using this approach. But convenience-wise, at least for me, it appears as though that this is a very useful solution to not having readily accessible manifolded banded twins. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll be making some more videos in the future concerning technical diving tips. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we're done.